Time to talk about the Carrie remake that was finally released in October 2013. I think this film has its strong points where it portrays scenes better than it does than the 1976 film. The 76 film has its strong and its weak points, and so does this film. So it was definitely watchable, definitely a good watch. Stephen King, his first published novel, he based this off of everyone goes to school and they know that shy girl who only has a few outfits and she walks in the hallways while reading a paperback and says like no words even though you've known her since kindergarten all the way through high school. That's pretty much Carrie. Think about that girl. Picture that girl that you know and you can relate to, and picture her with telekinetic powers. This is such an awesome story. And even Stephen King says he was too young and he wasn't experienced enough to flesh out the characters enough, and there's so much more to go on, but let's get into it and I'll go on throughout it. Basically, he based it off a girl that he knew like that, and he basically fictionalized what her upbringing is like at home, and obviously made the mom the mentally unstable Christian zealot who has her own interpretations of the Bible and tries to conform Carrie into her own ideals and believes that she's the spawn of sin, and she ends up being right. I think it's basically the devil toying with her because Carrie was born. She was married. Her mother, Margaret White, was married, but they call it marital rape. And then so she feels that the devil placed a curse upon her. But the way that they try to portray it in this is that Carrie had innate witchcraft abilities from her lineage and possibly her father or grandmother, which is an interesting take. And she's obviously still juvenile with these powers, and she can't really control them when she gets raged or picked on. And let's just get into the movie and what they show. And great opening scene. She was born without medical assistance, just like in the book. Oh, just perfect opening scene. Just like Leatherface was born in the beginning in TCM 06, right on the floor mat. So I think the first half was kind of like lame and a little bit of a mockery, and kind of paled in comparison to the 1976 film. But that's just the first act. And the director was possibly a little short-sighted. Here's a perfect example, like the bike scene, like Crazy Carrie. They basically got some neighborhood kid, put him in a bike helmet, and had him go around, and it wasn't as amazing as the original. But it got better as it went along. And there was great decor throughout, and they did the inside of the interior of the White House really well. And the closet with the oil paintings of Christians basically doing burnings of heretics. Oh, it's so insane. It was done really well. So let's get into the story pretty much. I didn't like most of the teen actors. I mean, you got used to them as it went along. But the main antagonist girl was kind of bad. Didn't really like her that much. I thought, let's get on to prom. I think I pretty much pretty much time to get to prom. So you were expecting the prom to be way more elaborate. In the original 1976 one, it's really not that amazing. And so there was a lot of CGI, of course, and special effects they were allowed to do, and they did. And I thought it was portrayed awesome. The pig's blood was done well, and how they butchered the pig, that was pretty interesting. And the whole prom scene where she tears down the whole high school was done exactly what it should have been done, like how it should have been done in the original. And she goes off and blows up the gas station just like in the book, and you can remember John Travolta when he dies. It's like totally off screen, like the car just rolls and then like that's just it, you know? Well, whatever. Carrie gets drenched in her homemade prom dress. And But what it's really about is the war at home. And I thought that this battle would be way more elaborate. It ends up being almost frame for frame of the original, of how she stabs her in the back like that, and then she just then Carrie does the telekinesis with the knives in her. What I thought was stupid is how they made the blonde girl show up out of nowhere. And she was like, "Oh, you're pregnant. You better get out of here. I'm going to save you." Even though I'm Carrie and I'm going nuts. But overall, definitely a solid remake. They didn't fail. You gotta say that. Chloe Grace Moretz, the little girl from Amityville, will always be a Scream Queen legend from now on. She's been in some of the biggest horror movies, remakes, and she slipped into the role pretty well, I'd say. Can't complain. Although, of course, I would have liked Lindsay Lohan. So would Stephen King, so you can't hate on us. Anyway, I could go on and on about Margaret White, but that's pretty much all I have to say for now. This was JBM from Villain News, Mr. Creepshow 9, and I'm out. Thanks for watching.